We're going to switch from proclamations to resolutions. And Ms. Beaupre, are you teeing this up?
Yes, we will read the resolution itself after the presentation. So I'd like to introduce Dr. Barry Hummel with the Tobacco Free Partnership of Martin County to introduce all of his presenters here.
And Ms. Valerie Graham.
Again, thank you for the opportunity to do this. We're going to start with the resolution on preemption, and I'm going to invite up three of our spectacular students working against tobacco youth from the Boys and Girls Club to do the presentation.
And Commissioner, would you prefer that we do the resolution after each of the presentations or just do them both at the end? We have two resolutions.
Let's do them one at a time.
Okay.
So we don't confuse the issues.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, well, we're just proud to have these passionate youth advocates here today to speak to you on these two resolutions. They're part of a statewide youth advocacy movement to bring awareness to these two important issues. So thank you for this opportunity today.
Good morning. Thank you for this opportunity as well. My name is Trinaris Hastings. I'm the SWAT coordinator, student working against tobacco, and these fine youth are going to present to you in collaboration with this presentation. We have the Department of Health, Tobacco Free Partnership of Martin County, and the Tobacco Free Partnership Prevention Program. Today we have Keisha Darville, Ms. Aaliyah Darville, and Mr. Sancho, Mr. Mike Sancho, right? I call him Mike Sancho. You know Mike Sancho is
I was going to say, that doesn't look like Mike Sancho. You'll get to introduce yourselves and do, I'm sure, a much better job at that. Please state your name for the record, sir.
My name is Giovanni Sancho.
Fantastic.
And, I'm a junior at Clark Advanced Learning Center. Now, the Florida Clean Indoor Air Act has a fond history in the Florida legislation. Now, in November 2002, 71% of Florida voters approved Florida constitutional amendment entitled Protect People from the Health Hazards of Secondhand Tobacco Smoke by Prohibiting Workplace Smoking. Later on, in January 2003, the above amendment officially became part of the Florida Constitution. And on July 1st, 2003, the FCIAA law was updated to include the provisions as outlined in the new constitutional amendment. Now, the intent of the Florida Clean Indoor Air Act law is that a person may not smoke in an indoor closed workspace. Preemption clause, section 386.209, preempts regulating of smoking to the state and supersedes any municipal court or county ordinance on the subject. Unfortunately, the preemption clause left out the word indoor, causing a legal loophole, preventing the local communities from protecting citizens from secondhand smoke in public outdoor areas.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Aaliyah Darville, and I'm a freshman at Martin County High School. Now, as you can see from this map, most states do not have preemption clauses. For the states that did have them, they were successfully removed. In fact, since 2005, the number of states with preemption has dropped to only 12. Only states in yellow on this map still have preemption clauses. Unfortunately, Florida is one. Statewide, the Tobacco Prevention Network of Florida has both House and Senate sponsors ready to submit bills to either remove or amend their preemption clause. Despite the preemption clause, as this map shows, there are already 51 Florida cities or counties who have created smoke-free outdoor air laws in their local parks and other facilities. These laws have not been challenged, which proves that local communities want to have the right to make their own rules regarding outdoor air.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Can you fix that?
There you go.
Hello, my name is Keisha Darville. I'm in 8th grade, and I go to Murray Middle School. SWAT clubs like ours all over Florida will be asking their local decision makers to help us have clean outdoor air. We are asking you, our county commissioners, to support our efforts by passing this resolution before you today. The resolution urges the state legislature to remove the preemption clause to restore the right of local governments to enact and enforce smoke-free air and other tobacco-related laws. We appreciate this opportunity to present to you today, and thank you very much for allowing our voice to be heard.
Thank you so much. Okay, now we're going to read the resolution. Is that what you're doing, Ms. Beaupre, or are you doing that, Ms. Graham? No.
I'll read it.
You are recognized.
Thank you. A resolution urging the state legislature to repeal state preemption in the area of regulating secondhand tobacco smoke. Whereas numerous studies have found that tobacco smoke is a major contributor to indoor air pollution and that breathing secondhand smoke is a cause of diseases such as heart disease, stroke, respiratory disease, and lung cancer in healthy non-smokers. And whereas the 2006 U.S. Surgeon General's report, The Health Consequences of Involuntary Exposure to Tobacco Smoke, concluded that smoke-free workplace policies are the only effective way to eliminate secondhand smoke exposure in the workplace, and that evidence from peer-reviewed studies shows that smoke-free policies do not have an adverse economic impact on the hospitality industry. And whereas the World Health Organization has determined that there is no safe level of exposure to secondhand smoke, and in 2007 declared that this is indisputable evidence that implementing 100% smoke-free environments is the only effective way to protect the population from the harmful effects of exposure to secondhand smoke. I'm getting tired. Whereas the National Cancer Institute determined in 1999 that secondhand smoke is responsible for the deaths of 53,000 Americans annually. And whereas secondhand smoke is particularly hazardous to individuals with cardiovascular disease, individuals with impaired respiratory function, and the elderly. And whereas children exposed to secondhand smoke have an increased risk of asthma, respiratory infections, sudden infant death syndrome, physical and cognitive developmental abnormalities, and cancer. And whereas local governments have both the right and responsibility to adopt laws that protect the health and safety of their residents. And whereas more than 3,100 local governments throughout the country have successfully implemented smoke-free air laws to protect people from the harmful effects of secondhand smoke. And whereas the tobacco industry, in an effort to negate such legislation, has long had its chief legislative strategy the preemption of local authority to regulate tobacco. And whereas preemptive state laws have a devastating effect on tobacco control efforts and on the public health of the state's residents and workers. And whereas multiple states have successfully overturned preemption and restored local control to enact and enforce smoke-free air laws. Two more. And whereas Florida has had a preemptive state law since 1985 which prohibits local governments from enacting laws that restrict smoking in any indoor or outdoor settings or that restrict the marketing, advertising, and point of sale of tobacco products. And whereas the Florida legislature should not deprive local governments of the authority to protect their citizens from the harmful effect of secondhand smoke. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Martin County Board of County Commissioners that the Martin County Commission urges the Florida legislature to restore the right of local governments to enact and enforce smoke-free air and other tobacco-related laws. Further, Martin County strongly encourages that local governmental entities in Florida adopt similar resolutions. Duly adopted this 27th day of September 2011.
Move adoption.
Okay. Thank you. I wasn't clear on that. Can you read it again, please?
I thought we had shortened it, to be honest.
We have a motion by Commissioner Smith, seconded by Commissioner Fielding. All those in favor? Aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Now we know why Valerie didn't want to read it.
I thought we had shortened it already. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Well, thanks to the three of you and your efforts and your terrific presentation, that motion passed unanimously, which is a pretty big deal in Martin County.
Yes. Thank you very much.